Good evening, everybody. We're back. They let me back in the building. Let me just pin this. Hey, everybody. I'm Malika. Thank you for... They gave me a script, I'm not even going to lie, for how to introduce the show. Welcome to episode 2. I know this is episode 2. Welcome to episode 2 of Malika Talks. I'm really bad at this. I hope everybody's having a great evening. I'm just gonna. So tonight's guest, we have the amazing Hanavi. I believe she's in the building. So I'm gonna just add her to the chat so that we can get on with it, because I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me talking just all day long. Where can I find her? Okay. Here she is. Okay. I think she's joining. I'm so happy to be here.
Hi. Oh, so good to see you, babes.
You look so gorgeous.
And you. Hello, I'm loving the necklace.
No,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, thank you. The outfit is Pretty Little Thing.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Yeah, I put on some sequins for you guys today.
Yes.
Gotta get out of the tracksuits once in a while.
Listen, I think this is the first time I've been dressed properly in about 18 months.
Oh, babes. And hi, everyone that's watching us.
Okay. Hi.
All good.
Yes. Hey. Well, yeah, I was saying 18 months, and we've only been in lockdown for like 12, so I have no excuse.
Babes.
Your hair is just so phenomenal.
Thank you.
It looks so gorgeous.
Got it from my mom and my dad, actually. Both of them had curly hair, have curly hair.
Gorgeous. How are you?
I'm good, babes. Like everyone else in the UK, lockdown 3 is a lot. Lockdown 3 is a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we were all cool in lockdown 1. We were like, ooh, fun adventure. Lockdown 2, you're kind of like, okay, this is what I need to do, you know. This one, I feel like everybody's like finding it quite difficult. So I'm trying my best to stay positive, to stay motivated, to kind of get out of the house, do my walks, just trying, I guess, like all of us, just stay sane. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the first lockdown we were all, and guys, we're not going to talk about lockdown.
Don't worry about it.
Because we know that's all that is anywhere.
Yeah.
But just give me and Hannah a minute, because we're just catching up.
We haven't caught up for ages, yeah.
But yeah, I think lockdown 1, like, we were all in our homes. We were like, we don't want to get sick. We don't want to get any of our loved ones sick. You know, we don't know what this is, and we've all got to kind of do it. And I think now we're all a bit like,
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. But you know what? I keep thinking, thank God for music. It keeps like, I've been listening to so much music. I've been, not just as a musician and creating, I mean, listening, consuming music. It's been so important to me. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same. Just like, I need the tunes at the moment, man.
Yeah.
And it's
what kind of stuff have you been listening to? Have you been finding like new artists and genres and styles that you don't usually listen to?
You know what? Not really. I feel it's like TV shows. Like sometimes you just want to stick to your favorites. You know, so like, you're right, babes.
My entire life is a joke. I promise you. Yeah,
it's all good. Listen, that's the good thing about being able to like do it like online. It's like, it's all good. You know, but no, you know what, like, so right now I'm just obsessed with there's Aretha Franklin's, one of her first albums she did with an amazing pianist called Ray Bryant and his trio, and she's like 19 or 20. It's insane, you know. And like, I just keep listening to it because it's so feel good, and it's all like up tempo, quite bluesy stuff, and I feel I need that energy right now. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like listening to it more or less every day. I was just listening to it before we went online to just hype myself up. So yeah, man, like I'm sticking to the oldies. I mean, I'm listening to a couple of new things, like Jasmine Sullivan's new album is incredible.
It's just it's the best thing ever.
It's ridiculous. It's like, it's ridiculous on so many different levels. It's obviously her as a vocalist, her as a writer, the production, then like the content is
the topics.
It's very like, all right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like it's grown folk music.
Definitely. But I think that like she's always kind of done it, but now for whatever
I
reason,
love
maybe
it, man.
because
Unapologetic, right?
yeah, and
She's just
she's
like,
really
I don't
finding her
even care
stride.
anymore. This is how I feel. Bam, let's
This
go.
is what I want to do. Let's just
Mm.
do it. Okay. So before, because we will literally go down
I
a
know.
rabbit
We'll
hole and
literally do
start
this.
talking.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself? Like
Yeah.
obviously I've introduced you, Hannah, but I feel like sometimes when people introduce me, they don't say the stuff that so I like to give everybody the platform and the availability to tell people who have joined us
Yeah.
about yourself and just give us you.
All right. So, hi everyone. So amazing to have you all there. So, my name is Hannah V, and I'm a producer. I'm a pianist. I'm a songwriter. I originally trained as a jazz musician, then ended up being a session musician. So, I was on the road touring for about 8 years, like quite hardcore. I was on the road for a year with Rihanna, 3 years with Jessie J, and lots of other artists in between. And I really saw the world. It was incredible, and played, stages I'd only dreamt of playing. And then 6 years ago, I decided that it was time for a change, and I decided I wanted to focus on full-time production. So I like kind of quit being a session musician while I was at the top of my game. So everybody's like, "Are you nuts, Hannah?" But something in me just said it was time for the next move. And so this is like my 6th year as a full-time producer, and I absolutely adore my job. I love it. I work with a lot of different artists. My main artist is an amazing singer songwriter called JP Cooper. Um, and I work here, I work in Germany, I work in the States, I work in Canada. I kind of like, yeah, because I think once you've been like a traveler, and I was as a touring musician, you always want to like the traveling bug is always in me, so I love working with different artists. And I've got my studio in Hackney, and it's a blessed place. It's just a wonderful, wonderful space. And yeah, I feel really fortunate to be able to do a job where I can truly say it fulfills me, it gives me purpose. It's more than I ever dreamt of.
Okay, so I have been trying to think
Yeah.
about how we met, and I thought it was through Cherry. Cherry V is
Yeah, wasn't
for
it? Who
those.
was it? How did we meet?
Well, wait, for those who don't know, Cherry V is a phenomenal singer songwriter. She has her own career. I was actually watching her Middle Eight podcast today as well, which people should check out. With Jermaine Riley and
Mm.
Ricardo Williams, other amazing R&B singers. But it wasn't Cherry, because as you were talking, I was like, because I remember like when we did our sessions, or whatever, it was through your next door neighbor.
Shut up, Mike.
Mike. Why did I know? I literally.
Really?
It's through Mike Kintage, because I did a session with Mike, and I was like, oh my days, I would
Oh,
love to work with a female
yeah.
producer.
Yeah.
And then and a huge apologies to Mike, because we've written like an amazing song, which I think is called As a Woman, and I think it's going to be like one of my best songs ever. So
Yeah.
let me just put it on record that I apologize for getting his name. But he put us in contact, and then that is how I knew you, or that's how I know
That's
you.
crazy. And you know what? For everybody listening and watching, this is how music works, man. It's random.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, you get recommended in quite the normal way. Sometimes your neighbor says, "Yo, you should check out this chick," and it's not just music, isn't it? It's life. It's like these moments just happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, crazy, man. Yeah.
So I suppose, let me ask, what do you prefer more? I know obviously you've made the transition into producing, but now you've kind of been a producer for a while, and you've done the whole touring thing. Like, if there was one that you could just do full time, which one would it be?
You know what? It's crazy to say this, but I feel like my entire life and career and practice led me to the moment of being a producer.
Okay.
And I find that like insane, because like performing and playing the piano, like that's my thing as well. But I feel in production I can do it all, because I play on the records. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it gives me a chance to like book all my favorite musicians on the records, and there's something so special about being part of the creation of a truck, you know. And then obviously before lockdown, for me to, as a musician, as a former musician, now going to gigs as a punter and seeing people play the tracks I've produced or I've written on stage, that buzz, I cannot tell you how much that means to me. It's all come full circle. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Having that feeling of like finding your purpose, and sometimes not even realizing that you didn't know your true purpose.
Yeah.
I know that for me, I've struggled over the years with some of my peers be like, oh yeah, this is my purpose, and then I've been sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I've recently like had a revelation where I've been like, okay, I think I've found what it is that I'm supposed to do, and also understanding how the last 10 years have brought me to the place where I'm at now.
Absolutely.
Like when you go back and you think, do you know what I mean, from the beginning, like I think of meeting, you know, and I can put it back to like when my very first boyfriend left me, and then I met these new friends over the summer holidays, and they were at uni, and I was like, oh flip, I thought we just all worked, do you know what I mean? And then that inspired me to go to uni, and then that I met the people that I did my first single with, which, do you know what I mean? Like thinking back to how life happens, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the important thing is also to know that purpose changes. Maybe in 5 years, I'll be like, now I want to do this, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like we don't, and I think especially in the last year with everything being so crazy, man, let's not be bogged down by nothing. You want to change what you're doing, change what you're doing. You love what you do, stick to it. There are no rules in this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And we're all allowed to do whatever we want to do, you know? It's fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how have you found, this is like the main reason why I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was working with Mike. I'd been doing music maybe like 7 or 8 years at that point, and I don't think I'd ever worked with a female producer. Yeah. I've actually been singing since I was 5. Like my dad is like a producer and was a producer and a manager.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
I've never worked with a female producer until I worked with you. So like my whole life, right? So I wanted to speak to you because I thought that you would be really important as not only like a woman of color, but that's not all you are. What is your heritage? Do you mind just telling, just because this is the theme?
Of course. Yeah,
if you wanted to just speak about that.
Yeah, so I'm South Indian, I'm Tamil. So my dad is from Bangalore and my mom is from Ambur. So yeah, we're Tamilians. Okay,
beautiful. Do you do people recognize that in you, or do you get mistaken for?
You know what? Interestingly, not my ethnicity is very confusing to people, because I think my accent is weird because I went to an American school, and then all of a sudden, because I'm from Berlin, so all of a sudden I bust out German, so people are like, "Oh, what are you, woman?" You know? So fellow Tamils know that I'm Tamil. You know?
Yeah.
Fellow Indians know I'm Tamil, but I think in the media. There's a certain type of Indian that gets portrayed a lot, you know, and not, there's like almost 1 billion of us, you know, we don't all look the same, you know, so people are definitely like surprised. But what I love about the UK, London especially, is like, people are like, oh, you're Indian. Okay. And then they ask questions and they're like, oh, you know, you can educate people, you know, just be like, no, like, you know, Indian women have curly hair too. It's like, you know, like it's, you know, it's a big continent. So, so yeah, definitely my ethnicity is like confusing to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you find it's like a focus point? Because I know obviously we came on here and I was like, oh my gosh, your hair, like whatever. Do you know what I mean? And like, maybe because we're both women of color, that isn't maybe necessarily offensive or whatever. Like if we were face to face, like I wouldn't have walked up to you and touched your hair. I'm like, oh my gosh, your hair. Maybe whereas somebody else of a different ethnicity might have come in and spoken to you and touched your head. Do you know what I mean? So, but do you feel like your color is ever like, or your ethnicity is a main topic of conversation, especially in music and in your job?
You know what? It can be, and I don't mind it, because I am proud of my heritage. I am so proud. I love my people. I love my food. I love being Indian. And you know, and I feel like it's something I've really grown into as well, you know, because, you know, growing up in Germany, there weren't a lot of Indians. You felt really lost. Then I moved to London, and all of a sudden you see this massive Asian community and people like, and, you know, the UK loves Indian food anyways. And I was like, wow, there's this welcoming vibe, you know. So I'm just proud. I will say immediately within 5 minutes, I will talk about my ethnicity, because it's sometimes something I think is important. It defines us, you know. And I always love asking people where they're from anyways. I find it really interesting and fascinating because, especially in London, there's so many amazing mixtures, you know, and I love like digging deep into it, because again, we all just want to learn. You learn from different cultures, and certain cultures are so similar as well, you know. So it's something that definitely comes up, but it's something I'm happy for it to come up, you know, because again, like I said, with people that really don't know, let's educate, you know.
Do you know, I love that that's the standpoint that you're coming from, like that I could just educate you. If you don't know, I can just educate you. I know that me personally, I've found it difficult in my sessions sometimes, where people have kind of come up to me and addressed me in a like, yo, wagwan, innit? Like, and I was just like,
and babes, listen, people do that to me, and I'm like, I'm Indian, so I don't know why you're trying to do that, you know.
Okay.
That's a whole nother topic, so let's not even get into that.
At least you have a get out clause, because I am black. Okay, so I can't even. I might even do that. I might even do it the next time someone does that to me. I'm gonna be like, well, I'm Indian, so.
But you know, yeah, I mean, that's obviously. I feel we're moving into times where people are more aware that they shouldn't be. Come on, they don't need to be doing all of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think we're moving into more sensitive. People are more, not even sensitive, people are just more clued up, you know. And if you're interested in our cultures, just ask, you know.
But you know what, I think sometimes it doesn't, it's not meant to be offensive, right? Because there are some black people that speak like wagwan, like there's nothing, it's fine.
Yeah,
I feel like people do it because of like the institutionalized racism, which I was gonna say, like, we've been protesting about over the last 12 months, but that people have been protesting about for the last how many 20, 30, hundreds of years, right? So I don't think it's always from a harmful place or from a racist place, but I do think that sometimes you can just be like, not sometimes, racism is so embedded, right, within culture, and so many different things that you can kind of say stuff in and be offensive and not know. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes you're just not in the mood for the joke.
Yeah, but you know what? The one thing about the Black Lives Matters movement, it's made, I think, every person of color, it's made us realize we don't have to take it. We don't have to take it no more, you know. So I feel much more comfortable now after last year, being, even if it just means I'm going to look at your stush, but I'm just going to give you a sign that let's not go there, you know. And because we don't have to, you know, like, ultimately, especially if it's in the workplace where they're trying to make a song, we're being professional, like, let's not go there unless it's like respectful. And like I said, if you're interested in culture, in my culture, cool, let's go there. But we don't need to. Certain jokes, we ain't going there no more. I'm not going to laugh about it anymore. I'm not going to pretend I'm cool with it anymore. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. And I think, you know, definitely. Did you take part in the protests this year?
I didn't go walking because I was too paranoid about COVID, but I was massively affected by it. I've got a lot of Black American friends, obviously, a lot of Black and brown friends here, and the conversations, the tears we shed, the conversations we had. I mean, just even thinking about it now is making me
it's really deep, it's so, because it's just so unfathomable.
It's deep.
It's like, it's just it's so crazy, you know. And just, you know, I think there was one thing going around the internet at the beginning of this year when the troops stormed Capitol Hill, and it was just like, we don't want you to shoot them. We just don't want you to kill us the way you don't kill them. And like, it's just that simple. It's like, it's really just that simple. But I mean, it's I mean, I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is really important, and I've definitely been impacted by it. And I spoke about this with Rosanna on the first episode, and I'm so devastated because we lost the footage. And it was such an empowering conversation, but this is empowering too. So we're good. But yeah, definitely the Black Lives Matter movement is an important one, and just pray for change.
Yeah, and because I think it makes you realize, or it made me definitely realize how much, especially in this industry, which is very white, you know, how much it had affected me, you know, kind of the whole kind of model ethnic minority, and like never try, always feeling I have to be so perfect. I can't mess up, because man, this is my only chance. And I'm representing not just me, I'm representing all Black and brown people, you know, like, and I feel that strongly, you know, because many rooms that I'm the first woman plus the first person of color in certain situations, you know, and I'm just, and it's a lot, you know, but again, the flip side of it all is like, it's empowering as well, you know, somebody's got to be the first. So cool, I'll do it, you know, because trust me, babes, the generation that's coming next, they are fierce, they're fearless. The young ones nowadays, they don't care. And I'm watching them, you know, and you just think we're gonna be in good hands, because the youth, they don't care.
Yeah,
they're gonna take equality. Do you know what I mean? And
they're like very proud in all shapes and sizes, in color, in race, in sexuality, in just like they're taking control of their emotions, like just not having a bar of it.
They're different. They're built differently, man, and they're not taking any BS. You know, like they're just there, and they're ready, and if they want to do something, they're going to do it. And I love seeing it.
Absolutely. And I think, so just to go back, because I said one of the main reasons I wanted to have you and speak to you specifically is because I'd never worked with a female producer. And I think that, you know, what we're saying about just having a voice and taking back your voice and stuff, I can genuinely tell you, I've gone through a situation very, very recently where I felt that just because I was the black girl, that I wasn't able to speak, and I missed a really great opportunity because I didn't speak up right at the time. Long story short, now I've been able to go back to those people and have that conversation, in like, not in an aggressive way. And yes, sorry, I just see Fru Samuel or something. Yes, you're fearless. Yes,
the young ones, I love you guys.
But yeah, I was able to go back to them and have just an open conversation and said, look, this is how I felt at the time, and you know, I should have said something. I just didn't feel confident enough. I didn't want to lose the opportunity, and it was inspired, or it was fueled by the Black Lives Matter movement. And even though I missed an opportunity, the lesson that I learned was nobody owns my voice but me, or nobody owns, do you know what I mean? Like, I have the choice whether I do something, whether I don't do something, and there will always be another opportunity. And not in terms of saying that in an arrogant way, but just in understanding that, like, if you don't feel comfortable with something, then you should speak up for yourself. And I think that absolutely to encourage those who are with us this evening, and just that's kind of it was just a very empowering lesson. And I've been doing music for like 13 years, and there's been seveul times in that time where I have done things that I'd felt uncomfortable with, and just to be clear to everybody, not sexually, or I didn't feel uncomfortable sexually. This was just in terms of just business. But yeah, there have been things that I didn't necessarily agree with or feel comfortable with, but just from that one situation, I found the power to just speak up and say, and not even in a, like I said, with any attitude. It was just like I'd learnt the lesson, and me sharing that with those people, hopefully it taught them something about how they
That's
make
so
people
amazing
feel.
that you went back, that you got the courage, you thought about it, you went back and addressed it. That's amazing. You
Yeah,
know?
and to be honest, it worked out for the best, and we like everything was okay. But it was just an empowering moment. But I say all of that to say, how do you feel being a female producer in a male dominated world? Like, we don't even have to touch on color.
Yeah.
We can just talk about on the different genitalia parts. Like,
You know what?
How does that feel?
See, the thing is, as a touring musician, when I started, I was always the first female musician that people had worked with. So I was super used to like being the only woman in the room, being the first woman, people definitely questioning, can she even do it? You know? So, because in the playing world, I mean, it took me so long to get the jobs that I got, you know, because people didn't give me the chance. And I kept thinking, man, all I'm asking is for you to hear me play. That's it. And then if you book me or if you don't book me, that ain't my business, you know.
Yeah.
But give me a chance. But I didn't get that opportunity until I did, you know. And I feel kind of, and so in many ways, I'm a bit hardened to it, babes, because I'm just like, I don't even care no more. My faith is strong, so I'm like, you know, God chooses some of us to do some really hard work, you know, and that's fine. And I kind of feel look, don't get it twisted. It's hard walking into new situations and every single time knowing they take one look at me and don't think I can do what I can do, you know, because that's not what a producer looks like. And especially because the kind of music I make hip hop, I make R&B, I make soul, I make hard hitting music, you know. So people look at me and they're like, no way she can make beats, you know. And so I have to prove myself every single time, you know, and sometimes it gets tiring, but to be honest, I'm used to it. And the one thing that I find is that human beings are actually, you know, they're more good people out there than bad people, right?
Love this, yeah.
And so, for example, I had a really big session last year for 2 days in Abbey Road, and I was producing it, you know, and it was a studio too. It's like the biggest studio in the world, and it's like all these engineers and all that. And I was like, I was so nervous, but the way there was loads of prep calls and all of that, and they just like, I just got such a great vibe of them because they were just like, I think when people are so pro, they don't even think about it. They're like,
well, who are you producing for?
JP Cooper.
Oh, okay, JP. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a story
incredible.
about JP Cooper. I've got a story about JP Cooper in a minute.
Oh, he's amazing, man. But you know what? It was like incredible walking into a studio, walking into the most famous studio in the world, which by reputation has the best engineers, and being treated like such an equal, and not even just an equal, like we all hit it off, we vibed, they loved working with me, I loved working with them, and it was such like, it was so good. And you know, and so I think for all those haters, that are hating, look at me here in this beautiful studio with these people that are G's. So it doesn't matter, babes, it just doesn't matter, you know, like, yeah, it's going to take me longer to get into certain rooms. It's going to take me longer to get certain cuts. It's just the way it is. When you're the first, it just takes longer because people don't believe it, you know? So all I can do is keep churning out my tunes, keep being good at my craft, keep working on my craft, keep being humble, keep working with people I believe in, be honest, be truthful, stay true to my morals, and try not to make the doubt of other people's make me doubt myself.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest thing. And also I discovered recently that like one of my friends, what happened to him? I don't know. I think he lost his job. Anyway, just like, I can't even remember. No, I remember the story. One of my friends, he was trying to get a mortgage for his house, right?
Yeah.
And for like him and his wife, and they got kids, whatever. And he needed to get another job. So he applied for jobs, nothing was happening. Long story short, he got an interview for a job, ended up getting it. Really, really great job. I was really excited because he called me up and he was like, I'm going to take you to Sushi Samba because I've been trying to get him to take me there for ages. So we were planning our little lunch, did like little lunch meetups. Long story short, something happened and he didn't get the job. Like they revoked the offer. Really, really stressful. Like I said, he's got kids and everything. Then one of my best friends, for anybody listening, not a side nothing. Anyway, no, I'm just going.
Disclaimer. Hashtag disclaimer.
Gonna make it very clear. Anyway, long story short, he then started applying for jobs again.
Yeah.
Ended up getting another one, and then it didn't go through again. And he was really, really stressed out at this time, whatever. He eventually got another job. But in that moment, I felt like it was a teachable moment, because I learned that everybody applies for like 50 jobs, right?
Correct.
And they get rejected 50 times, and then they might get one. We as creative people are the only people, so like singers, producers, actors, whatever, we're the only people who will send one email to somebody, be rejected, and be out of the game for about 6 weeks.
Babe, you know what? I don't even know, because I feel like the one thing about our job is we are so used to rejection. 99 no's, 1 yes. 99 no's, 1 yes. I'm just so used to that, you know? Like, and I feel that's just part of the game, you know? That's part of the creative game. And we've all had so many knockbacks that I've now realized it's not even about the yeses and the nos. It's not about that. And my goal at some point in my life is to react the same way to the yeses the way I react to no. I tried my best. Cool. You dig it? Cool. You don't dig it? Cool. You know, like, because ultimately, what can I do? It's not in our power if people dig our stuff, if people want to use the music. It's not, you know, all we can do is do our best with good intentions. That's my main thing. My mom always told me that, like, do it with good intentions. Good intentions, good intentions, good intentions. You know?
Absolutely have to. You have to, like, and it takes a moment to learn, right? But you definitely have to just keep on going and understand that, like, everybody is going through the same struggle, like people at the top of their game, in the middle of the pie, or right at the bottom. You know? And totally. It's not personal. And I think that as soon as you realize, however long it takes you, some people get there on their first day working in the music or creative industries. Some people, like myself, it took me a good like 5 or 6, 7 years, whatever. But as soon as like that clicks, everything changes, because when you do get the yeses, it's like, this is amazing and I'm going to keep on working. And when you get the no's, it's like, I'm still just going to keep on working.
Yeah, exactly.
And I heard something the other day. I'm a little bit obsessed with the Joe Budden podcast. If anybody listening knows Joe Budden, I would like to try and get my song As a Sleeper. But for him, Rory, or Mo, or Parks, just want to put it out there.
Putting it out there.
Please. Anyway, but Rory was saying that they were arguing about something, and Rory was like, it's not actually about trying to prove people wrong. It's about trying to prove people right, because the people who don't believe in you, they don't believe in you. So you don't need to be like, oh, I'm going to show you like, you need to focus on the people who do believe in you, and prove them right. Like, oh, yo, you believed in me, and look, and I thought that was a really nice and different way to think about, to like approach things.
Totally agree with you. And I think it's a hard thing, but I think it's also like trying to not even think of the people, you know, like, if there's any way, it's just all we could, you know, like, I got into music not because I wanted hits or I wanted to play on big stages. I got into music because I couldn't stop listening to the records I loved. I couldn't stop listening. And I thought, man, I just want to be as good as my heroes, or just a tenth as good as my heroes. That's it, you know, like, so. And I think so many of us, we get into music out of pure passion. I love my instrument. I love music. Done. I want to get really good at it, you know? Yeah. And then you get into the music business and you realize how hard the game is. And some of that childlike joy and innocence and passion is lost. Yeah. And I found that especially towards the end of my like life on the road, you know, I was just like, was just tired, and I was thinking, I need that spark again, you know. And I think it's really important for all of us to remember why we started music. We started music because we love music. That's it, you know. And then you dedicate time to it, because you have to do that with anything you want to be good at. It don't come easy, you know. Talent only takes you so far. The rest is sitting down, working, practicing, refining, reassessing, every day, all the time, you know. And so now the game for me, it isn't between me and people, it isn't between me and getting a gig or not a gig, getting a production or not a gig, production. You know, I just think of it, ultimately, I'm never going to beat music, right? The second I think I'm good, the second I'm like, yo, that beat sounds so good. Then I hear someone else do something, I'm like, oh, or I see someone else playing, like, oh my God, I need to practice, you know? And for me, I love that. I find it inspiring. You know, there's so many amazing people out there we can learn from. And, you know, then I look at my heroes. I'm like, I'm nowhere close to where I want to be when I compare myself to them.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
My whole philosophy is like, let's try and forever be the student of music, the student of art, the student of, you know, of this thing. And that'll keep you fresh and, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. But how do you find that with in regards to, like, you're nowhere near where you want to be, right? How do you find dealing with that with your family and your friends? And I don't know if you have just music or industry friends, or if people in your family, I can't remember. I know you've got a brother, right?
Brother and sister,
right? So I can't remember if they worked in music as well, but like, how do you find sort of communicating those bad days? Because like literally I had a really bad the last 2 days, like literally yesterday I just went to sleep at about 3 o'clock. I just said, I'm not doing this anymore. But I had to wait all day to speak to one of my friends, because he's like a manager. He's my ex-manager, but I knew that when I called him and I explained what I was stressed out about, he would get it. And I struggle with kind of with being able to confide in certain people in my family and stuff. So how do you find that, like, your outlet? So and then we've got a couple questions. There was one question here from Gabriella, which I'd love us to ask you.
So quick thing about friendships and all of that. I think it's really important to have non-muso friends. Okay. Really important. Really, really important. My best friend is a musician mix engineer, and he's the person that every day, so did this, I can't believe, you know, and that's important to have somebody that understands the game, and we can say like, oh man, I had a really hard day with this and But then, for example, my brother and sister work with youth, and so my bad days of like, oh my God, the chorus and this chorus, compared to their bad days, bro, shut down. You know, I need to pipe down, you know? And it's so important for me to have that perspective, that, and even my other non-musician friends, they don't understand what I do. So they're just like, how was your day at work? And I'm like, good. And they're like, great. And if I say bad, they're like, oh, I'm sorry. And that's it, because they don't understand. And I love that, babes, because it just makes you take a step back and think, you know what? I'm not a brain surgeon. I write tunes, and it's fine to once in a while have a bad day, you know? And so I try and be well-rounded, you know, and make sure that, because I think if you're sometimes only in music circles, it's the same thing. Oh, you're producing for songs. Oh, I saw you had songs on the studio. It's the same little thing. And we live in a little bubble, and the world is so much bigger, you know? And music, for me, music is just a platform, you know? It's a platform for me to share my beliefs, to share my passions, to share my morals, to invite people into my world. It's just a platform, you know?
Okay, this is beautiful.
And so I kind of try and see it like that. And basically, and it's hard, babes, because, you know, because basically what I'm trying to say is like, we got to not take ourselves so serious at times.
Do you know what? I think sometimes that, like, I think that the parameters, you are 100% right. Like, this is not rocket science. And, you know, even in this pandemic, so many of my peers, and I'm sure so many of yours, like they're not working, they're not touring, like, do you know what I mean? And I'm very lucky that I do have other outlets and stuff where I've been able to work. So not taking away that, but I do think that the constant pressure and like the constant rejection and like the like, and also I have many industry friends, like obviously you and I haven't spoken for a while, but like I know that if there was something I could like message you and be like, oh hey Hannah, but like my best friend yesterday, like that is somebody that like is just totally unfiltered with. Do you know what I mean? Like I could say the most outrageous things and know that it wouldn't go further than that conversation. And I'm sure that's probably the same relationship you have with your sound engineer. Do you know what I mean? And I think that my family, they definitely, I mean, they've always been super supportive, right? But they're interested in the in like what I do and how I'm doing it, but they also don't get it.
So but it's hard. babes, if you're not in it, how do you explain our weird and crazy and unusual
because it makes no
jobs?
sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes absolutely
It makes no sense.
And I find that they ask me the questions. So like, and then when they don't get it, I then get frustrated because I'm just like, why?
Of course.
But okay, let's get to Gabriella's question. Can you see it? I can see it. I don't know.
I can't, no.
Okay, fine. It was like, what specific advice would you give to an upcoming? I don't know why I'm leaning in. Like, I don't have 20. I got my eyes tested last week, and he said I got 20/20 vision. So
what? All right. 2020, 2021.
2021. Yeah, what specific advice would you give to an upcoming 16-year-old songwriter, producer? For me, I just physically can't visualize myself doing anything else in life, which is a very beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sentence. And I wish I was 16 again. Go.
Yeah. So I was the same. I think I probably made my decision to become a professional musician at about 15, 16. And it wasn't a decision I made. I just couldn't see anything else. Like it was just like, there's obviously nothing else. This is what I do. This is what I do every day. This is what I love. So keep that passion, keep learning, learn from people that came before you, learn from your heroes, study the records, study the records. It's all out there, man. You know, like, it's so easy, especially nowadays, you know, with Spotify and whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, start with imitating. That's always a good way of practicing. You know, like, if you're making beats, and then say like, okay, I really like this Kanye beat, for example. Let me try and do something similar. It just means that you're getting into someone else's head, someone else's sound. You're analyzing it you're analyzing it. Do something similar. Cool. Try something else. You know, really analyze details of production. You said she's a producer. Analyze details of production. Same with songwriting. Make sure you listen to some Carole King, but then also listen to some some totally different Radiohead. Listen to across all genres. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. I'm not saying like you have to live with it forever, but just, you know, listen analytically to different types of music, different songs, different structures, so that you know about different structures. So a lot of it, I always feel like with music, it's a combination of technically knowing what's going on, and the rest, forget, is intuition and talent and instinct. You know?
Which one would you say is more important? I personally would say instinct and just following your heart, because all of the other stuff is great, right? But there will always be noise. There will always be people around you, people in the industry, friends and family who maybe don't get what you're trying to do, right? That will say, oh yeah, no, that's a good idea, but maybe try it later, or oh, that's not really too good, or do you know what I mean? So which one for you is more important? For me, it's instinct and honing that craft, because I feel like once you honed your craft of instinct, that will take you such a long way, because you'll just know what's right for you, and you'll know when to say yes or no for what's right for you. But what is
you know what? It's like both of them are very separate things, and it's right brain, left brain stuff. Because instinct, what it actually means is trusting yourself. You know, because we hear something and immediately we have an idea, and usually that's a great idea, you know, and then when, you know, like, especially when you're at the beginning of your journey, you're like, but is it good? You know, and like, and the more I'm in the game, the more I realize my instinct is just relaxing and seeing whatever happens. But combine that with knowledge, real freaking knowledge, because ultimately, like you said, there's a lot of noise, and I'm trying to be one of the best, you know. I'm not trying to be like the best female or the best Indian. I'm trying to be one of the best. So I need to make sure my skills match up technically as well. You know?
I love that.
So I think both work. It's head and heart, man. We need to work together. You know?
Okay, that's so beautiful. Gabrielle, I hope that helps you. Like, I really hope that does, because you said like so many beautiful and amazing and powerful things. But you're right. Like, once you have once you trust your instinct, and you have the technique, and you put those together, like you say, head and heart, like you really can move forward. And also don't be afraid of making mistakes as
Yeah, we
well.
all do it.
And don't be afraid of getting it wrong. I think, she said, sorry, I said Gabriella, but she said, thank you. Okay.
Bless you. And
Yeah,
Gabriella, one more thing. Just know that it's a real privilege that you at 16 already know what you want to do. Because so many people, it takes them so long to figure out what their role in this life is going to be, you know? And so it's amazing that you've got, I feel the same, you know, I felt so lucky that I just knew that that's what I was
like the
do.
whole time. So like when I was a teen and everybody was out smoking and taking drugs and like stealing, I was like, nope. I want to be a singer, and I can't get caught stealing because then I won't be able to go to America because then I have a criminal record.
I love it.
It'd be like 14. I'll be like, what's wrong with you? But anyway, I definitely just trust yourself, keep on going, you know, don't take the no's personally. I definitely think so. And also, like, now with social media, do you think if you had social media when you were 16, I mean, I know you're only 18 now, girl. But do you feel like you would have got to where you want to get to quicker or easier, or if like you would like Gabrielle's age now?
I think, you know what, I think that's like I don't even know how I can answer that question, because I slightly have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Everybody does.
Exactly. So I feel very fortunate that it wasn't around when I was younger, you know, because my mistakes, and I made many mistakes.
Oh yeah.
You know, musical mistakes, fashion mistakes, all the mistakes, you know. I'm glad that they're like forgotten somewhere, you know, in the past. But I think I found the one thing I found really beautiful about social media is that it connects fellow-minded people with each other, you know, like I'm even before lockdown, I'm not the person you'll see at industry events or at clubs or whatever. I'm a hermit. I like being in the studio. I like being warm, you know, like that's just me. And I found through social media, I've been able to invite people into my world without having to leave my world, if that makes sense. And it's been so beautiful to like see the support and to have the conversations, you know. So I think use social media in a way that benefits you, you know, and not just, I'm not talking about career, I'm talking about benefits you mentally as well, you know, benefits your health, but and makes you feel connected, you know, because as we all know, the one thing about social media is like just makes you compare yourself to everyone else. And like every time, you know, like if you're in a bad headspace anyways and you see that everybody else is like having a million hits and you're like, oh, what about me, you know, it puts you in a bad headspace. So you just have to use it carefully, you know, use it in moderation and use it to make connections and connect with people, and I always see it as a way of welcoming people into my world.
Yeah. You know? Absolutely. Like I also think and this might be good for Danielle, like I've recently, like, I mean, I feel like I've just been so lucky to work continuously over these like the last like 10 years 13 years, but I'm now thinking, I've been working with like a media person, and I've been thinking of like my Instagram as like my shop window. So imagine if you're walking down the street and my shop window a couple of months ago looked like I don't know, when you walk past, like, I wouldn't say a charity shop, I'd say more like a thrift shop, with just stuff everywhere, different colors, different things in it. Like, it was, I like
a good thrift shop.
Like, I mean, you can get a really good thrift shop, but this wasn't the good kind. This wasn't the good kind. So you have to think of your, I would say, like your Instagram and stuff as your shop, and what do you want people to discover when they come to your page? Absolutely. What do you want people to think about you when they come to your page? Do you know what I mean? Like, somebody had to say to me, like, yeah, nobody cares about like your dog, like, please don't put her on the page. And I was like, it hurts, but I hear you. Do you know what I mean? So I think that I think that, yeah, absolutely. you know, using social media to your advantage, and you can use it however you want. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
And that's the thing.
It
There
can
are
be
no
like,
rules. Don't watch no one. Don't
absolutely, it
watch no
can be
one.
like a thrift shop, but then also if it does start to get too cluttered and you feel like people aren't getting the message and understanding who you are and what you bring, maybe it's like an idea to be like, okay, if I was walking down the street and I saw this window, would I shop here?
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, I agree.
Okay, so let's get into a bit more of your music. Do you have a favorite song that you've worked on? Do you have a favorite? I don't even want to say like a favorite person that you've worked with, because like I'm like not trying to start no beef or put you in the middle. I know obviously you and JP work together like quite a lot. Is that who you work with like mostly?
Yeah, so like I'd say JP is kind of like the main artist. I think every producer has one artist that is kind of, you grow together, you know, and you do your stuff together. I feel like that's just quite a normal thing. And so me and JP have been working together for 6 years from when I first started.
Oh really?
Like literally, the first session he did with me was his first ever co-writing session, you know, so we go way back. So it's really beautiful how our journey has progressed to like me basically being one of his main producers now, you know. And it's not just a musical relationship, it's a friendship, you know. And the musical relationship is based on like deep respect, and we do so many great projects, you know. We're always working on something, you know. And he's such like, I'm a fan because the way I musically grew up, I grew up in church. I grew up around really great singers in school as well. So I'm a fan of a singer, you know? Like, and JP is that and then some, you know? Like I had him in the studio a couple of days ago. And again, it's like we've been working together so much, and like he was doing some ad-libs and I was like, bro, like, how do you do it? Like your rhythmic placement. And I was saying, you know, I was trying to explain to him, I was like your mixture of tightness and laziness is so unique because it's, and he's like, I don't know, I'm just doing my thing, you know. So he's like an amazing artist I work with, and you know, like a lot of things we've done together online and stuff like that. I did a really great track that came out the end of last year with an artist called Lavish K. It's called Yo Show, and it's kind of like gospel drill, and that was like so sick. It was so sick for me to kind of get into that side of me, because with the things I do with JP are very organic, you know, but the other side of me is like straight up like hip hop, hard beats, program stuff, you know. So I did something with I did an amazing track that came out earlier this year with Mumu Fresh, amazing singer, called A Healing. So there's like bits and bobs floating about anyways, you know. And for me it's like every artist I work with brings out a different dimension to me. There's a singer called Pepper Rose who, honestly, the hardest stuff I ever do is with Pepper. I don't know what it is about me and her together. Something just happens in the room. It's just like crud, you know. And I love it. I love it. She's my muse in many ways, because she brings out a side to me, or she's just so open to everything I throw on the page. And we're just, you know, we've been working together for 3-4 years now. So our musical relationship and our friendship is like this as well, you know. And so I think, again, when you get artists that trust you and you trust them, you can just be like a kid on a playground. You can just run around and do whatever you want to do, you know. And so I'm really fortunate and I feel so privileged to have these strong musical relationships, you know, where I'm going to create with JP, with Pepper, with all of these people for the rest of my life, forever, you know.
Yeah, and I think that like how long does it take you to get comfortable with an artist? Like, we've worked together, and I think that like when we did it, just like whatever, and we would just talk about everything. I think we talked more than we worked.
Standard, but that's how it has to be, babes. Because you have to be comfortable, you know.
Absolutely,
like, it's music, it's art, it's your heart, you know. Like,
absolutely, and the things that you like discuss in a session, like you're literally like, I met somebody the other day. I met them once at a show, and then once we were in the studio together. And in that, like, he told me about some drinking problem that he had, some stuff that was going on with his daughter. Like,
Listen, we hear everything.
You
I think especially as a
literally,
producer, you hear everything. You're
you
carrying
literally
around
hear everything.
secrets.
And do you know what I mean? And it's just like some of the tales that you could tell, but like I think even you don't even think, like, you leave and you don't think, oh my days, let me call my friend and tell them the tea about it, because that's not.
It's a sacred space.
I was just about to say, it's like an unwritten rule.
Yeah.
That like whatever we talk about in this is do you know what I mean? Like it's just like, I don't need to say, guys, don't tell anybody.
No,
do you know what I mean?
We know.
There was another guy that I worked with who's actually, I didn't know at the time, but he was married. This was years and years ago to quite a famous actress. And he was like, oh yeah, me and my wife, this, that, and the other, and was just like telling all of the tea. And I didn't think anything of it. And then long story short, after, somebody had said to me like, oh, you know, he's married to so-and-so. I was like, well, I am.
We hear a lot. We see a lot. It's part of the job.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is this another question? Oh, and others are, what's the secret sauce? This is from,
what's the secret sauce to sessions? Listen, there ain't no secret sauce, because sometimes some sessions just you don't gel, and it is what it is, and you got to move on with it. You know, babes, it is what it is, right? And it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad human being or they're a bad human being. It's just we're all different characters, you know, and part of our job is, our jobs are so intense that we every day get put in rooms with different people, you know. It's not always going to work. And what my whole point, I always try and say, like, even if it doesn't musically work, let us as human beings be cool to each other, you know, even though we both know that we ain't going to do a session again because it's just something about it didn't work. It doesn't matter. And what, then let's have a cup of tea, let's talk, let's, you know, like, you don't have to be besties with everyone.
And also, I think sometimes it's like, you can be having a bad day or a bad time.
Of course.
And you know what I mean? And it's just like, and as much as you do share, there are obviously some things that you don't and you can't and you won't share or whatever. And sometimes you just don't gel with that person. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, that's why you don't gel. Like you're going to the session and you'll just meet that person and you'll come out and you'll be like, oh, actually that producer isn't for me, or that that artist isn't for me. That's happened. It's happened with me, even like going into sessions and me not being in the right headspace, and do you know what I mean, and not giving my best to that session. And what do you think as a producer? Do you think it's in that situation, is it better to like soldier through because you might get a hit, or is it better, I mean, it's different for a producer. I think as a writer or an artist, you can kind of say, oh, you know, I'm not feeling it today, and go home. But do you think it's better to soldier through because you might get a hit, or do you think it's better?
You know what? The way I do it, I do short first sessions. I do 4-hour sessions as my first meet, and for me, they're meet and greet sessions. You know, and so you meet, you talk, you figure. Because some people like working, prefer me sending them beats. Some people want to write in the room. Some people want to write away from the room. You know, and so for me as a producer, it's kind of to find out how you tick as an artist and how we can make this work for you. Because not everybody wants to like open up their hearts, you know, to some of them, you know. So I keep the first sessions kind of very casual. Like you still more or less 99% of the time come out with a song, but it's not about that. It's just like you know, just meeting, you know, talking, breaking bread, like having a cup of tea, listening to references. Oh, this is what I'm digging. This is what you're digging. Oh, sure, play me some of your music. What kind of thing do you want to do? And then, definitely writing a song, but it then kind of triggers like the next couple of sessions. How should we work further? Do you want to come? Oh, listen, I only need you to come down for a couple of hours to lay down vocals, or let's do a full day. You know, like. So I think being flexible is really important, and not putting too much pressure, because that's like. That kills the vibe, man. You know, like of course you can't be like that when you have artists from abroad. Then you know you just do 2 days and you get the best out of it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it's people that can theoretically easily travel to the studio, let's not put so much pressure on it. Come down, hang. Let's see what happens. You know.
Okay. There's one more question before we go. What are your flow state triggers? Like your go-to things to get in your creative bag? I've never heard of it. That I think that that's by Akari London. I've never heard of a flow state trigger. I
haven't. I like that.
You haven't either. Because I just thought I was uncool, but
what I try to do, what I do to get creative. Couple of things. If I'm working alone, it's just listening to music on the way in. If depends what, if it's my favorites, or if it's something new, it doesn't matter. Like just bumping music, because I'm a music fan. So just bumping music, and then that gets me flowing. Or just sitting in front of the piano and just being like, I have, like voice, like everyone, I have voice notes of ideas, of little phrases.
Do you ever go back to the voice? I never go back to the voice.
Yeah, babes, I do. Yeah, because then sometimes I'm just like, oh, that's quite a nice idea, When I'm working with artists, a lot of times I don't listen to their stuff before the session because I want to be fresh, So then it's just more about me being positive, having had my coffee and my green juice and and being open, because that's so important to me, man. When I'm in, especially someone I don't know, like I want to give you all my energy, so that we can do whatever we need to do to do that session, So, but I find health is a really important thing, man. Like sleep, energy, being in a good place. Because if your energy is low,
it's honestly, like I've discovered over the last couple of years, like health. If you are not healthy, like this is probably the most important thing. Like, because you don't understand, like you don't understand how, like, for instance, like terrible thing. Imagine if you just cut off your hand, right? All of the things that you can't do with both of your hands. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, health is so important. And I'm not saying people with one hand are not healthy. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, for example, when you have things that you stop you, do you know what I mean? Even for me, getting a cold, losing my voice is the most devastating, scary thing, probably one of that could probably happen to me, because I'm a singer. Do you know what I mean? And I'm okay like the first day, but then after about 2 or 3 days, I'm praying, I'm saging, I'm like, I promise I'm never gonna use my mouth for any badness, because you don't know if your voice is gonna come back in the state that it's gonna come back in. And I say all of that to say, like, health is so important, because without health, you can do nothing. If you don't sleep, if you're too tired, whatever, do you know what I mean? Like, if you don't get enough rest, if you're not eating properly, if you're just mental health, physical health, just health is something that I've really been so passionate about over the last 18 months or so.
I hear you, babes. And I think it's also really important to protect your energy, because when we're writing,
can you say that again for the people in the back? Can you say it again for the people in the back?
Your energy, babes. So what I mean with that is, when we're in with people writing, new people, it doesn't matter. Writing it seems easy. Everybody's just jamming in a room, but actually it's like, in many ways, it's gut wrenching, right? You're putting it all on the table. So I've realized that I try not to do, for example, 2 writing sessions in a row. I try and have a break, and so I'll do writing sessions Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and have a second to reset, because it's pure energy that you need. Because somebody's saying this, you're saying that, I like this, I don't like this, it's so fast, and as fun as it looks, it's exhausting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what you have to do. You have to put your all in it to really get something out of it. And sometimes you only come out with 8 bars that are amazing, but that's great, so I think it's really important to I made the mistake like 3-4 years ago, when I kind of first signed a publishing deal, of like being in sessions all the time, and then and then you get to a Friday and you're like, I swear I've heard this mid-8 before. Oh yeah, I'd use the same chords on a Monday. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you have to know that, like, we're only human, and we're trying to create something from nothing, man. It's crazy, the job. So protect your energy and make sure you're rested. Your ears are rested. That's a really important thing too.
It's just spirit. Just like your spirit, like protecting your energy. Even like, yes, in music, but I just think in life, like,
absolutely.
Many, like, sometimes just being calm and silent is like in my house. I don't actually play that much music.
Yeah, same, babes. And when I'm busy, I don't listen to anything.
Yeah, when I'm not working, I'm more, because I feel like there's like an anxiety that I get with music. Do you know what I mean? Not only like you might listen to something and it's like, this is really not a good song, or like, oh my days, this is a great song, I need to write better, and I'm not doing it. Like, it just creates, or you know, that production is great, who's that producer, and I need to find a producer. It just goes down a whole rabbit hole. So I think protecting your energy, being kind to yourself, and
guys, a bit of a hack that I've only discovered recently. I've really enjoyed over the last 3-4 months, and this is again something that I've only realized in lockdown, is listening to podcasts and audiobooks.
Oh my days, I live for an audiobook.
Using your ears for something different than music, because our ears are so used to work. Everything's work. So to use your ears, so put on your headphones, and it's not music.
Yeah.
I know it sounds so simple, but it's been a life hack for me, man.
Do you know? Okay, before we go, because we're gonna have to wrap up. But what is there a book that you would recommend?
Yes, Audible. If you're new to audiobooks, get Trevor Noah's autobiography. You guys, you're gonna be laughing, you're gonna be crying. It's called Born a Crime. It is incredible. If you haven't done audiobooks before, you can do 1 month for free. So just quickly get it for a month and listen to Trevor Noah's book, because he is incredible, and his life is crazy and beautiful, and I cannot recommend it.
Okay, can I recommend a book? One of my favorite books is The Path Made Clear by Oprah. It's like, it was one of the first audiobooks I listened to, and I've gone back and listened to it 2 or 3 times. And The Path Made Clear by Oprah. DJ Target's book is an amazing.
Oh, I have to get DJ Target.
No, it's phenomenal, and it might be funny to me because I know some of the people that are name checked in the book. Do you know what I mean? So it's like quite funny, but it really takes you through a history of UK music. It's a phenomenal book. And Gabrielle Union's "We're Gonna Need More Wine." Have you read that?
Really? No.
It's a great book. Okay, it's a really great book. So and also Lily Allen's. I'm listening to Lily Allen's book at the moment, called My Thoughts Exactly. Yeah. And that she talks about her trauma as a child and the music industry and mistakes and stuff that she's made, which is really good.
Angie Martinez.
Martinez audio.
I'm loving all of these recommendations. Those audiobooks are great.
I'll put them. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't lose this footage. And I will put these books in the comment section just for people to find and stuff like that. But Hannah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, listen. Babes,
you don't even know.
This babes, like every time you said it, it's like, this is your thing, and it's just babes. It's so cute. It's been too long, and we definitely have to get back in. I'm actually working on some stuff at the moment, so I'm going to message you privately. Yeah, please. And would love to get you involved. Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you to everyone for listening and asking questions.
Thank you to She Said So as well for allowing us to have this platform, and I hope that you're welcome, Gabrielle. Thank you so much, Ruby, everybody, for putting in your questions. I hope that you guys found it interesting and inspiring, and I will see you, I think, when is the next one? I don't even know when the next one is. It is, my IG is Malika Official with a 0 on the official. Hannah, tell yours.
I'm Hannah the Official.
There you go. It's very, very simple. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hannah, love you lots. Thank you so much. Look after yourself. Stay safe.
Stay safe, guys. Stay healthy.
Stay safe. And thank you so much. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Do I stop this? Okay, Hannah's left. And yeah, just once again, thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us. That was Malika Talks, episode 2. I will see you guys the second week of March, and we will have another amazing, empowering guest. And I hope you guys have an amazing Valentine's. I should have wished Hannah an amazing Valentine's. Have an amazing Valentine's and have an even better pancake day next week. And that is the end of that. Take care. Bye.